Hello everybody, this is Brandon C. coming at you from Brandon C. Fitness. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today, decided to do a push-pull routine. So starting off, warming up with some pull-ups. We got 5 sets of 5 here. Now feel free to do this routine with me in the gym, or you can do some of it at home if you got some setups at home. You just need a set of dumbbells maybe, or a barbell if you got one. Got a second set of pull-ups here. Now on these warm-ups, the pull is a little faster, and the decline obviously want to go nice and slow. Make sure we got all those inner lat fiber muscles warming up and muscles around the scapula firing. Round 3 coming up here. I like to start from a dead hang, pull up to my chest, keep my feet squeezing together, helps keep my core engaged. Now obviously whenever you start a pull up, if you've never done a pull up, start with a band, wrap a band around the top there and put your feet in the band and take it nice and slow. Or if your gym has a machine, ours does. I'm a trainer at High Tone, and our gym has this wonderful machine where we can set the weight. And if you're new to pull-ups, it makes it very, very easy for beginners. Very easy for beginners. All right, so we got one more set of pull-ups here. Last one, already starting to feel it a little bit. Everything's nice and warm. Big pull up to the top. Back down. Big pull up top. Nice and slow back down. Take your time with these warm-ups. Kind of sets the tone for the rest of your workout, so make sure you're taking the time that your body requires to warm up the muscles that you're going to be attacking for that day. Up next, we got another lat exercise. It's a pull down. Now for this pull down, we're gonna do, I'm actually doing a superset with a chest press. So we're gonna do 5, 5, 5 here. I like pulling both of them down as you saw, and then we'll do one set of 5 and then the other set of 5, 4, 5, and then this last one will go up, and we'll do both of them at the same time for 5. I like throwing in some unilateral movements in my workouts just to mix up the routine a little bit and make the mind work a little harder. There's nothing wrong with working your nervous system as well, and unilateral movements really help find any kind of imbalances and work those out. So this is that chest press that I told you we were going to be supersetting with. This kind of takes the place of our bench press. Really helps isolate those chest muscles and get a nice stretch and squeeze here. So we couldn't do a unilateral movement. The machine says you can, but honestly, for the quality of the range of motion, it wasn't really worth it. So decided to do just both arms at the same time, and still got a nice squeeze here, for sure. But since we couldn't do one arm at a time, I just went ahead and repped out 15. Back to the lat pull down. We did 3 sets of these, so just back and forth. Again, pulling both of them down, and then started with the left arm this time. My left shoulder seems to be a little awkward sometimes, so started with the left shoulder, and just to mix it up again and keep the brain guessing. Keep a nice squeeze on it, and we hit both of them. You're going to try and increase the weight as you go through these different sets. Gradually increase, find what works for you, and take it from there. Next set of presses here. This got to be pretty heavy. biggest thing with these presses is the, honestly, I find in the stretch portion, it seems a lot of the work that I've done over the years has happened in the stretch. So really focusing on the eccentric, taking your time, moving the weight down, not letting it fall, and then getting a nice squeeze down at the bottom. This got to be pretty heavy. All right, last set of these. Again, another really heavy set to finish off this superset. You wanna push yourself here. This is why we show up. We show up to push ourselves. And I know my back was feeling good today. My shoulders were feeling good. My elbows were feeling good. So I went for it. There's nothing wrong for going for it. Now, as you can see on this last one, like, I was struggling. This hurt. I even had to take a break. I think this is number 4 here. Yeah, barely got that squeeze. Took a break, took a breath, let the back relax, and I was like, gotta get this last one. Gotta get 15. There it is. Squeeze, 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 and let it out nice and slow. Good job. All right, last set of presses. Again, this was a pretty heavy set. I felt this. Really just trying to polish off whatever fibers are left in the pressing motion, because this is our last press motion for the chest, at least for the lower fibers. And there's nothing wrong with changing weight. Nothing wrong with changing weight at all. I knew I had to get 15 here. I knew I was struggling. I pressed as hard as I could, as many as I could. Took a break again. Pushed a couple more out. Failed. Dropped the weight. You got to get 15. You got to get 15 on these supersets. Repped out my last few. Nice and slow back down. Done. All right, moving on. Next superset. Again, back and chest. This one we wanted more of a neutral grip pullback. Really work the middle part of the back. Started off pretty light, honestly. I felt like I could probably have gone a little bit better, but since it was a little bit lighter, decided to slow the reps down, really focusing on getting the squeeze all the way to the back, trying to press those scapula together. Like somebody has their finger in the middle of my back and I'm trying to squeeze their finger in between my scapula. That's really where the concentration was. And on this next superset, we were doing 12, 10, and 8 reps. So 12 to get the motion down, a little bit of weight, test yourself, see where you're at with 12. And then on the 10 and the 8, it's really time to push it. Next time, going really heavy. Next movement, we went over to the pec deck. Again, went pretty heavy right out of the gate. It's the last major chest exercise, so really wanted to push it here. Big fly movement. I like the pec deck that we have at High Tone. It offers a really nice range of motion. Lots of different settings on that thing. The focus here, obviously, again, stretch and squeeze. Stretch the outer fibers, feel it all the way through the chest, and then squeeze all the way to the middle toward your sternum. 12 reps here. Back to the neutral grip pullbacks. Again, we could have done a unilateral movement here, but since we did the unilateral on the pull downs, I just decided to go with the 2 arms at a time. Again, taking your time on this one. This one really helps work that big back. You want a big back? Take your time with it. Slow the reps down. There's no rush. You show up to the gym to put some work in. Make sure that work is worth it. Don't rush. That was a pretty heavy set. Back to the pec deck. Set of 10 here. Things are already starting to get pretty heavy. If it's super heavy, I'll use one arm to move one side up and then get the other side up, just to keep my shoulders nice and safe. I like to move the setting pretty far back to make sure I'm getting the proper stretch on my chest. But because of that, if I'm going heavy, that first big squeeze can be a lot of shoulder action. So just to set myself up, I'll squeeze one up and then squeeze the other one at a time, and then start my set off. All right, different view here. This one's really about the elbows. Sometimes I tell people, make sure you're pulling from the elbows, and that's really just a visualization. You got to take your mind and put it in the muscle all the way down into the joint. Mind to muscle connection, mind to joint connection. Pull back from the elbow here. Grip's tight, but we're still pulling from the elbow. Like somebody has a string attached to it and they're pulling your elbow back with that string. All right, set of 8 here. Pretty heavy again, so one arm at a time, get it up there. We start the set here. Now these were feeling pretty good, so got a surprise for you. We actually added one more round for a set of 6. Since this is our last big back and chest exercise, I wanted to make sure to really push it as hard as we could, so added another round. Nothing wrong with adding another round. If you're feeling good, you're feeling healthy, go for it. Here we go, last round of 6. This was pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie. I think we were up to about 165 pounds here. I believe this machine has 2 cables on it. I know there can be a lot of back and forth between how many cables are on the weights and the distribution of weight and what the weight actually is versus what the plates say. I believe the plates said 165 here, but who's to say? That's done. Moving on. All right, guys, last round on this pec deck machine. Let's go for 6 here. This is super heavy. Yeah, I could barely get it. Could barely get it. Get the first squeeze there, but we got it going here, so let's hit 6. One more. Let's go. Oh, painful. Yep. That was tough. That was a tough one, but we're gonna go nice and slow. Boom. All right, moving on in the workout. Got shoulders next, working some rear delts. So we started off on this cable machine. Now I really like this movement for multiple reasons. Number one, it keeps the tension on your shoulders the whole time. Whichever muscle you're working, cables are great for that. But what I found is it's been a while since I've done this maneuver and I couldn't quite remember where the setting was on the machine the last time that I did it. So I actually started pretty high here. We're doing 3 sets of 10, by the way. On this next set, I decided to lower those cables down 1 setting, and that actually made a huge difference. So again, don't be afraid to change the weight. Don't be afraid to change your settings. Figure out what works for you and go from there. We're all figuring this out together, guys. Another set of 10 here. This felt much better on the rear delts. Obviously put a lot of work in on the back today, so I wanted to make sure that I was firing the right muscle, and that's why I lowered those cables down a little bit. All right, guys, last set. Rear delt cable crossovers. Big squeeze. The rear delt section is a pretty particular muscle group, and I've found that if you've already worked your back pretty hard, in order to isolate that muscle, you don't really need a lot of weight. As you can see, I think I only have about, I think it's 12 or 15 pounds, maybe. There's a couple of plates and a 2.5 pound plate on the side there. Good set. So this is where things get a little dicey for me. Already pretty spent, and decided to do some seated military overhead press. This first set with the 40s was pretty heavy, and I knew going into it that I really wanted to push this last set for shoulders. We only got a few rounds left for today, so wanted to give everything I got. $12, $10, $8 on these. So when I picked these 50s up, I knew things were gonna get rough. The range of motion definitely was a little bit of a challenge here, but I wanted to try and at least reach that 90-degree angle with my elbows and shoulders. Those last couple reps were iffy, but again, we're pushing it today. So decided to go up 5 more pounds, and I asked my buddy Mike to give me a little spot just in case, and you'll see why here in just a moment. There's nothing wrong for asking for a spot, guys. Better to be safe than sorry. And on that last one, you'll see here, really pushed it. Decided to have one more. Almost a failure, almost a failure. We'll call that failure. It's really failure. I was able to get one arm up, but not the other, but hey, that's why we're showing up. All right, guys, last couple supersets here. We got 2 for biceps and 2 for triceps. The first one is gonna be a superset between these alternating curls and an overhead tricep extension. Alternating curls is the classic move for the biceps. Hits both bicep heads. As long as you get that nice squeeze up at the top. Your pinky a little twist in towards your shoulder too. Really helps activate both bicep heads. For these sets, we're doing 12, 10, and 8. So for the curls, 12 each arm, so 24 reps. Bop myself in the head there a little bit. Nothing wrong with it. We're all human, guys. Sometimes you bop yourself, and that's fine. Sometimes you bop yourself with a 45-pound dumbbell, and that's fine too. Whatever motivates you to get through your overhead tricep extensions. Normally I know I can go a little bit heavier than this, and definitely decided to do so on the next round. So this was the heaviest bicep curl I think I've ever done, 40-pound dumbbells, and definitely fell short of the amount of reps that I was supposed to do. But I knew that they were going to be really heavy, so just decided to go to failure on this round. We're almost there. Yep. I think there might be a couple more reps in there. A couple more in the tank. Yeah, there's the failure on that arm, and there's the failure on that arm. Nothing wrong with it, guys. In there testing ourselves, figuring out what we can do. Human body's an incredible thing. You can do some crazy stuff, and slinging around the amount of weight that some of these people can do is truly incredible. But the only person we should be comparing ourselves to is our person we're looking at in the mirror. Another set down. Last set of bicep curls, definitely decided to go down. So grab the 35s, and we're gonna rep out the proper amount of reps this time. Going for 8 each arm, so 16 reps in total. Really trying to get a nice squeeze up at the top. Almost failed on these, but decided to get a little swing in at the bottom just in case. All right, last set, went heavy on the triceps here. Grab the 60-pound dumbbell. Be sure to not bop yourself in the head with the 60, and go for 8 reps. Really start to feel these. If you're only hitting, we'll say 6 sets for biceps and triceps, it should probably be pretty heavy. All right, last superset. We have reverse curls with a straight bar. All the way up to the chin, back down. All the way up, back down. This is a great one for the forearms. Tried to go for a little bit more of a close grip on this one. Really felt this on the outside of my arms. Forearms, grip, everything feeling it on this last round. Again, 12, 10, 8, the last set. Next, we went over to the cables again. Love cables. Keeps the tension on whatever muscle group you're working. Not exactly sure what you call this little rope plastic hand grip thing, but I love it. Love it, love it, love it for the triceps. The reason that I love it is because it works as a neutral grip about 3/4 of the way down, and then at the very bottom you can twist your wrist and your pinkies out and get just a little bit more squeeze back there in the back of the triceps. And just something about being able to twist your pinkies out makes that exercise feel amazing. All right, second round for biceps here. Close grip, went up in weight. Again, go up in weight if you can. If you're following along, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching the video so far. This is the first voiceover video, so if you've enjoyed this, leave a comment. I think on the next one, I'm going to talk in the gym and see what happens. Not sure what we'll have to do about the music and all that, but definitely have to sort that out. Next set of triceps here. change. Really working the backside of that arm. Can't really see my hands in this one, unfortunately, but again, like twisting those pinkies out really helps get an extra little squeeze back there on the back. Mind my crazy gym faces. Just means it's working. All right, last set for buys. Here we go. Set of 8. Get it rocking. Shouldn't be any swing on this one. And the wrist should feel nice and strong as well. If you find your wrists are bending a little bit more than you would like, it's time to go down and wait. And that's okay. That's okay. All right, one more set for triceps, and I believe we are done for the day, folks. You have made it. This is the end of the workout. You can really push the weight on this last one. As you can see, I am exhausted, totally spent at this point, but we're gonna get a little bit more pump in those triceps, because why not? That's what we showed up for today, right? Get a little bit stronger, get a little bit healthier. And this is the hardest part of the day, guys. Like, once you go to the gym and you go through something like this, like, what's harder? Some mental stuff? Mental stuff can be heavy, no doubt, but not nearly as heavy as the shit we lift in the gym. So I did say that was the last set, but surprise, I got a burnout for you. We're gonna do some chin-ups for a burnout. And on this one, I decided to go up to the top, hold for 3, drop 3, all the way back down. Back up, hold for 3, drop 3, back down. Did 4 of these, and then held as long as I could. If you've made it this far in the workout and you are still doing chin-ups, proud of you. Keep going, stay strong, and thank you for watching. This was not easy, but we don't show up for easy, do we?